The three key functional styles of thought. 1. Legislative orientation. Individuals with a legislative thinking style have a preference for tasks that involve creating, formulating, and planning ideas or strategies. They enjoy the freedom to decide what to do and how to do it, rather than following instructions. 2. Executive orientation. Those with an executive thinking style prefer tasks with structure, procedures, or rules. They are comfortable working within a defined framework and appreciate having guidelines to measure progress. They tend to follow instructions but strive to execute them well. 3. Judicial orientation. Individuals with a judicial thinking style excel in tasks requiring evaluation, analysis, and judgment. They enjoy comparing and contrasting existing ideas and strategies and are often critical and evaluative of others. Understanding these three key functional styles of thought is crucial for young adults, as it helps them align their strengths with opportunities, approach challenges effectively, and make informed decisions. This awareness enhances their adaptability and sets the foundation for greater success and fulfillment in their personal and professional lives. Here are the multiple choice questions with the corresponding functional style of thinking provided in brackets. 1. When planning your day, how do you typically approach your tasks? A. I create a detailed plan, deciding what to do and how to do it. Legislative. B. I prefer following a set routine or schedule to get things done. Executive. C. I analyze and prioritize tasks before deciding how to approach them. Judicial. 2. How do you handle unexpected challenges during your workday? A. I come up with new strategies or ideas to solve the problem. B. I stick to the usual procedures or rules to find a solution. C. I evaluate different options before making a decision. 3. When faced with a decision, what is your typical behavior? A. I like to explore creative solutions and decide on my own. B. I prefer to follow established guidelines or advice from others. C. I weigh the pros and cons before coming to a conclusion. 4. How do you usually approach completing a project? A. I enjoy designing and planning the project from start to finish. Legislative. B. I follow the project plan closely and ensure everything is done as required. C. I assess the progress and make adjustments as needed. 5. When participating in a group activity, how do you typically contribute? A. I like to suggest new ideas and lead the planning process. B. I prefer to follow the group's plan and contribute where needed. Executive. C. I observe and evaluate others' ideas before providing feedback. Judicial. Here are 5 more multiple-choice questions focused on handling relationships, with the corresponding functional style of thinking provided in brackets. 1. When resolving conflicts with a friend or partner, what is your usual approach? A. I prefer to suggest new ways to address the issue and create a plan for moving forward. Legislative. I rely on established methods or past experiences to resolve the conflict. Executive. C. I carefully evaluate both sides before deciding the best course of action. How do you typically communicate your feelings in a relationship? A. I like to express my thoughts creatively and find new ways to communicate. Legislative. B. I follow familiar ways of expressing myself, often using phrases or methods that have worked before. C. I think through my feelings and consider the best way to present them before speaking. 3. When making plans with your partner or friends, how do you contribute? A. I enjoy coming up with new ideas and suggesting different activities. Legislative. B. I prefer to stick to plans that have worked well in the past. Executive. C. I compare different options and suggest the one that seems most balanced or fair. Judicial. In a group setting, how do you handle disagreements? A. I propose alternative solutions that might satisfy everyone involved. Legislative. B. I prefer to follow the group's consensus or the most established approach. Executive. C. I listen to all perspectives and help mediate the situation by weighing the pros and cons. Judicial. 5. How do you approach giving advice to someone close to you? A. I like to offer new perspectives and creative solutions they might not have considered. B. I provide advice based on tried and true methods or experiences. C. I analyze their situation carefully before offering a balanced and thoughtful recommendation. Here are 5 more multiple-choice questions focused on conflict resolution, with the corresponding functional style of thinking provided in brackets. 1. When faced with a conflict at work, how do you typically address the situation? A. I brainstorm new ways to resolve the issue and present them to the involved parties. Legislative. B. I rely on established protocols or company policies to handle the conflict. Executive. C. I carefully assess the situation, considering all perspectives before deciding on a course of action. Judicial. 2. In a disagreement with a friend, how do you usually respond? I try to come up with innovative solutions that could satisfy both parties. Legislative. B. I stick to what has worked in past disagreements to resolve the issue. Executive. C. I analyze the root cause of the disagreement and weigh the options before responding. 3. How do you handle conflicts within a team or group? A. I propose new approaches or ideas that could help resolve the conflict. Legislative. B. I prefer to follow the group's agreed-upon procedures or rules to settle the issue. Executive. C. I evaluate the arguments on both sides and suggest a compromise based on the facts. 4. When you find yourself in a heated argument, what is your typical reaction? A. I try to steer the conversation toward brainstorming new solutions. B. I adhere to logical reasoning and established facts to defend my position. Executive. I take a step back to evaluate the situation objectively before continuing the discussion. 5. How do you approach resolving a misunderstanding with someone? A. I suggest new ways of communicating to prevent future misunderstandings. B. I rely on clear, established communication practices to clarify the situation. C. I review what was said by both parties, analyze the misunderstanding, and then seek to clarify it. Here are 5 more multiple-choice questions focused on emotional connectivity, with the corresponding functional style of thinking provided in brackets. 1. How do you express your emotions to someone you care about? A. I like to find creative and new ways to show how I feel. Legislative. B. I rely on familiar gestures and words that I know convey my feelings well. Executive. C. I carefully consider my emotions and choose the most appropriate way to express them. Judicial. 2. When trying to connect with someone on an emotional level, how do you approach it? A. I think of unique ways to relate to them and share my feelings. Legislative. B. I use tried and true methods, like shared activities or conversations, to build a connection. C. I observe their emotions and responses, then tailor my approach based on what I perceive. 3. How do you handle emotional disagreements with a loved one? A. I suggest new perspectives or activities to help us reconnect emotionally. B. I prefer to rely on our established way of resolving conflicts to restore emotional balance. Executive. I take time to understand both our emotions and find a fair way to address them. 4. In moments of emotional vulnerability, how do you usually respond? A. I try to express my emotions in a new and meaningful way. B. I fall back on familiar coping mechanisms that have helped me in the past. C. I reflect on my emotions, analyzing them before sharing with others. 5. How do you nurture emotional bonds in your relationships? A. I frequently come up with new ways to keep the relationship exciting and emotionally fulfilling. B. I maintain regular routines and gestures that strengthen our emotional connection. C. I pay attention to the emotional needs of both parties and adjust my approach as needed. Here are 5 more multiple-choice questions focused on career choices, with the corresponding functional style of thinking provided in brackets. 1. When choosing a career path, what is your main consideration? A. I look for careers that allow me to innovate and create new ideas or solutions. Legislative. B. I prefer careers that have clear guidelines, structure, and established paths to success. Executive. C. I choose a career that allows me to analyze, evaluate, and make informed decisions. Judicial. 2. How do you decide which job opportunities to pursue? A. I am attracted to roles where I can develop new strategies or start new projects. B. I look for positions that offer clear responsibilities and well-defined tasks. Executive. C. I prefer jobs where I can assess situations and provide thoughtful insights or evaluations. When considering a job offer, what aspect do you focus on the most? A. The potential for creativity and the opportunity to bring in fresh ideas. B. The stability and clear structure of the role with predictable outcomes. C. The level of critical thinking and problem-solving required in the job. 4. How do you approach advancing in your career? A. I seek out opportunities to create new processes or lead innovative projects. B. I focus on mastering the established procedures and excelling within the given framework. C. I aim to position myself in roles where I can analyze and improve current practices. 5. When faced with multiple career options, how do you choose? A. I choose the one that allows me to innovate and challenge the status quo. B. I opt for the career that provides a clear path and structured environment. C. I weigh the pros and cons of each option and choose based on careful analysis. Here are 5 more multiple-choice questions focused on academic subject interests, with the corresponding functional style of thinking provided in brackets. 1. When selecting courses or subjects to study, what do you typically look for? A. I choose subjects that allow me to explore new ideas and think creatively. Legislative. B. I prefer subjects that have clear guidelines, formulas, and structured content. Executive. C. I am drawn to subjects that involve critical analysis, evaluation, and comparison. Judicial. 2. How do you approach studying a new academic subject? A. I enjoy experimenting with different ways of learning and understanding the material. Legislative. B. I stick to the study methods and routines that have proven effective for me. Executive. C. I focus on understanding the concepts thoroughly and analyzing the information. 3. What type of assignments do you prefer in your academic work? A. I prefer assignments that allow me to create something new, like projects or presentations. B. I am more comfortable with assignments that have clear instructions and expectations, like problem sets or essays. Executive. C. I enjoy assignments that require me to critically evaluate information or compare different viewpoints. Judicial. 4. When researching a topic for a paper, what is your approach? A. I like to explore various sources and come up with original perspectives. B. I prefer to follow a structured research process, focusing on reliable sources and established facts. C. I analyze different sources, comparing their arguments before forming my own conclusions. 5. What academic subjects interest you the most? A. Subjects that allow for creative thinking, like literature, art, or innovation courses. Legislative. B. Subjects that provide clear rules and structured learning, like mathematics, accounting, or law. C. Subjects that involve critical thinking and analysis, like philosophy, history, or psychology. Here are 5 more multiple-choice questions focused on how one applies oneself with the corresponding functional style of thinking provided in brackets. 1. When you start a new project or task, how do you approach it? A. I like to brainstorm and create a unique plan of action. Legislative. B. I prefer to follow a step-by-step guide or method that has worked before. Executive. C. I assess the requirements carefully before deciding on the best approach. 2. How do you typically manage your time when working on multiple tasks? A. I create a flexible plan that allows me to adapt as I go along. B. I stick to a set schedule and ensure each task is completed in order. Executive. C. I prioritize tasks based on their importance and deadlines before proceeding. 3. When tackling a difficult problem, what is your usual method? A. I try out different ideas and approaches until I find a solution. B. I rely on proven methods and stick to them until the problem is solved. Executive. C. I analyze the problem thoroughly, considering all possible solutions before taking action. Judicial. 4. How do you apply yourself when learning a new skill? A. I experiment with different techniques to find what works best for me. B. I follow the standard instructions or procedures closely to master the skill. Executive. C. I study the skill carefully, understanding its principles before practicing it. 5. How do you handle setbacks or failures in your work? A. I look for innovative ways to overcome the setback and improve my approach. Legislative. B. I review what went wrong, then adjust my efforts according to established best practices. C. I reflect on the situation, analyze the reasons for failure, and plan my next steps accordingly. Here are 5 more multiple-choice questions focused on styles of overcoming uncertainties in life, with the corresponding functional style of thinking provided in brackets. 1. When faced with an uncertain situation, how do you typically respond? A. I brainstorm new possibilities and strategies to navigate the uncertainty. Legislative. B. I rely on routines or past experiences that have helped me in similar situations. Executive. C. I carefully analyze the situation, weighing the pros and cons before making a decision. Judicial. 2. How do you handle unexpected changes in your life plans? A. I adapt by coming up with creative solutions and alternative plans. B. I try to stick to my original plan as much as possible, making adjustments only when necessary. Executive. C. I assess the impact of the changes and make informed decisions on how to proceed. 3. When dealing with ambiguity or lack of information, how do you proceed? A. I explore different options and experiment with various approaches until I find a way forward. Legislative. B. I follow standard procedures or wait for more information before taking action. Executive. C. I gather as much information as possible and analyze it to make the best possible decision. 4. How do you cope with the uncertainty of future outcomes? A. I focus on creating multiple plans or scenarios to prepare for different possibilities. I trust in established methods or routines to guide me through the uncertainty. Executive. C. I reflect on potential risks and benefits, making careful choices to minimize uncertainty. Judicial. When life throws unexpected challenges at you, how do you approach them? A. I approach challenges with an open mind, ready to innovate and find new solutions. B. I stick to what I know works, applying tried and true methods to overcome the challenge. C. I take time to evaluate the challenge, considering all factors before deciding on a course of action.